Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something we don't talk about enough. The courage it takes to end what no longer serves you. Because let's be real, endings terrify us. We're creatures of habit. We hold on. We cling to things we've outgrown because they're familiar, even when they're slowly draining the life out of us. We tell ourselves it's not that bad. We make excuses for people, for situations, for our own comfort zones. But let me tell you the truth, sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is simply walk away. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I've invested so much time. I've given years of my life to this job, to this relationship, to this dream, and yes, you did. But listen to me. Just because you've spent a long time making a mistake doesn't mean you have to keep making it. There comes a moment when you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask, is this still serving me, or is it suffocating me? And that's not selfish. That's survival. Some people will call you a quitter. Let them talk, because there's a difference between giving up and knowing when enough is enough. I've seen folks stay in relationships that crush their spirit because they're afraid of being alone. I've seen people stay in jobs that make them sick with stress because they're afraid of change. I've seen talented souls bury their gifts because they're afraid to start over. And the truth is, we stay because we're afraid of the unknown. We think maybe this is as good as it gets, but that's a lie. And that lie keeps people stuck in places where their souls are dying inch by inch. It takes courage to admit that a chapter has ended. It takes courage to close a door and walk away without knowing exactly what's on the other side. But hear me when I say this: staying somewhere you don't belong will cost you more than leaving ever will. Your peace has a price, your joy has value, your mental health, your spirit, your dreams, they are worth protecting. And anything that threatens them is too expensive to keep. I'm not saying endings don't hurt, they do. You'll grieve, you'll question yourself, you'll wonder if you made the right decision. There might be nights when you lie awake, missing the familiar, even if it wasn't good for you. But I'd rather you cry the tears of letting go than live in quiet misery, pretending everything's fine. Because you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. Your body knows, your spirit knows. The anxiety, the tension, the sleepless nights, they're all signs. The universe whispers first, and if you don't listen, it starts screaming. Sometimes life pushes you out of places you refuse to leave. You get fired, the relationship crumbles. The opportunity dries up, and we call it tragedy, but sometimes it's grace in disguise, because if you'd stayed, you'd have missed what was waiting for you down the road. And let me tell you something about endings: they make room for beginnings. When you clear out what's toxic, what's stagnant, what's heavy, you create space for new people, new opportunities, new joy. But nothing new can come in if you're clinging to what's already dead, so I'm challenging you today to check your life. Check your friendships, check your habits, check the work you're doing, the places you go, the people you call family. Are they feeding your soul? Are they helping you grow? Or are they keeping you small because you deserve more than just existing? You deserve to thrive. I've seen people stay in places they've outgrown because they're afraid of hurting someone else's feelings. Let me tell you this: it is not your job to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You are allowed to choose you. You are allowed to protect your peace, and anyone who truly loves you will understand. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become heartless. It means you love yourself enough to say, this is no longer working for me. I wish you well, but I have to go. And yes, people might talk. They might judge. Let them. They're not the ones who have to live your life. You are, and one day you'll look back and realize that ending that chapter was the bravest, smartest thing you ever did. Because sometimes closing the door is the only way to walk through the one meant for you. So if something's breaking you instead of building you, let it end. Because your future is waiting on the other side of your courage. Pain, nobody wants it, but everybody gets their share. It's the price tag of life. It shows up uninvited through heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, loss. And when it does, our first instinct is to run. We want to numb it, avoid it, ignore it. We turn to distractions. We bury ourselves in work, scroll endlessly, binge, watch, overeat, drink, pretend. Because if we sit still long enough, the silence gets too loud and the pain starts speaking. But here's what we don't realize. Running from pain doesn't make it disappear. It just delays the healing. You see, pain has a purpose. It's a signal. It's a teacher. It's one of the most honest things you'll ever feel. When something hurts, it's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to get your attention. It's saying something in you needs to be addressed. Something in your life is out of alignment. And the only way out is through the ache, through the loneliness, through the questions and the confusion. That's where your strength is forged, not in the avoidance, but in the endurance. I'm not going to lie to you. Facing pain hurts more at first. It's like standing in a storm without shelter, but it's real, it's raw. And most importantly, it's honest, and the truth always sets you free, even when it stings. We've been taught that vulnerability is weakness, but it's not. Real strength is when you have every reason to run, every reason to hide, and you choose instead to sit with the discomfort. To look your pain in the eye and say, I see you. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm going to feel this, all of it, until it no longer controls me. Because when you don't feel your pain, it doesn't disappear. It buries itself in your body, in your habits, in your relationships. You lash out at people who didn't hurt you. You sabotage opportunities you prayed for. You settle for less than you deserve because deep down, unhealed pain told you that you're not worthy. So the only way to break that cycle is to stop running. Sometimes pain is a mirror. It reflects back everything we've avoided. It forces us to confront old wounds, childhood scars, fears we never named, and yeah, it's overwhelming. But it's also cleansing. It strips away the false layers, the masks, the pretending. You start seeing yourself clearly for the first time, not as the world sees you, not as your pain defined you, but as you really are. Whole, capable, still standing. I've seen people go through unspeakable things, loss of a parent, betrayal by a friend, rejection, failure, and still come out stronger, wiser, more grounded. Not because they denied the pain, but because they embraced it. They cried, they broke down, they fell apart. But they didn't give up, and somewhere in that darkness, they discovered something solid inside themselves. A foundation, a fire, a quiet power that could not be shaken. When you face pain, you gain clarity. You start learning what matters and what doesn't. You stop chasing validation and start seeking peace. You stop begging people to love you and start choosing to love yourself. You stop trying to fix others and start tending to your own soul. And every tear you cry becomes a seed planted. One day it blooms into wisdom, but make no mistake, there is no shortcut. There's no fast forward, a button through grief, no magic pill for disappointment. You can't skip steps. You have to sit in the ashes before you rise from them. You have to feel the weight before you learn how to carry it differently. Pain teaches patience, it teaches humility, it teaches surrender, and I know the world doesn't applaud that kind of journey. The world celebrates quick success, fast healing, overnight transformation, but real healing, real change. It's slow, it's quiet, it's lonely, and that's okay. You're not falling behind. You're not weak for feeling what you feel. You're human, and if you keep showing up, even if it's just by breathing, by getting out of bed, by whispering a prayer when you don't have the strength to shout it, that's enough. That's progress. Don't let anyone rush your process. Don't let anyone shame you for grieving, for being sensitive, for feeling deeply. This world needs more people who feel. People who have walked through the fire and didn't come out bitter, but better. Softer, Kinder, stronger, so let the tears fall, let the pain speak, let the silence stretch out if it needs to. Because one day that pain will loosen its grip. One day you'll wake up and the heaviness will have lifted. Not all at once, but slowly, steadily, like the sun rising after the longest night, and when that day comes, you'll realize something: the pain didn't break you. It built you. Healing, that word sounds gentle, peaceful, like soft music playing in a quiet room. But if you've ever truly been broken, you know healing is anything but easy. It's not smooth, it's not linear, it doesn't happen on your schedule, and it doesn't follow your plan. Healing is raw, it's messy, it's 1,000 tiny steps forward, and sometimes 100 steps back. And the hardest part of it all is trusting the process when you can't see the finish line. Because here's the truth: healing often feels like nothing's happening. You'll wake up day after day still hurting, still missing what you lost, still replaying the same memories in your mind. You'll wonder if you're making any progress at all. You'll question whether the pain will ever stop. And it's tempting in those moments to believe that you're stuck, that this is your forever, but it's not. Healing is happening even when you can't feel it. It's working quietly beneath the surface, knitting your wounds together, rebuilding your strength, reshaping your perspective. You have to trust that time is doing its job even when you're impatient, because there's no rushing grief. There's no forcing your heart to beat faster than it can. You can't just get over it because someone else thinks you should. Healing has its own clock, and it doesn't care about your calendar. It unfolds in layers. Sometimes you feel almost normal again, and then a song, a smell, a familiar street knocks the wind out of you. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. People will tell you, just move on, as if it's that simple. As if you can snap your fingers and erase the love you felt, the years you invested, the dreams you built. But your pain deserves respect. Your story deserves space. You can't sweep heartbreak under the rug and pretend it never happened. You have to honor it, look at it, and allow yourself to mourn what's gone. And yes, that takes time. Sometimes far longer than you'd like. But even in the middle of your darkest moments, healing is still happening. Every tear you cry is washing something away. Every night you survive is proof that you're stronger than you were the day before. Every honest conversation you have, every journal entry you write, every quiet breath you take when you'd rather scream, that's healing in motion. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's real. Trusting the process means allowing yourself to feel everything without judgment. Some days you'll feel hopeful. Other days you'll feel like you're drowning. Some days you'll laugh and forget for a moment. Other days you'll collapse in tears because it still hurts so much. Let it all happen. None of it means you're failing. All of it means you're healing. People talk about closure like it's a door you can slam shut and walk away from forever. But closure isn't always a single moment. Sometimes it's a series of small realizations, a gentle acceptance that what's done is done, a quiet release of questions you'll never get answers to. It's not forgetting, it's learning to remember without the same sharp sting. It's finding peace in knowing you did your best, even if things didn't turn out the way you hoped. Trusting the process also means understanding that healing changes you. You'll never be exactly who you were before the pain came, and that's not a bad thing. Your wounds become wisdom. Your scars become stories. You start seeing the world through new eyes, kinder, deeper, more compassionate. You learn to spot the people who deserve your energy and those who only drain it. You learn boundaries. You learn resilience. You learn gratitude for the smallest joys. Sometimes the person you become through healing is someone you'll love even more than who you were before. Because they're stronger, they're wiser, they've learned that they can survive the things they once thought would break them. And that knowledge, that's priceless. I've seen people rebuild their lives after unimaginable loss. I've seen people who thought they'd never laugh again find themselves laughing until tears roll down their cheeks. I've seen people who believed love would never come again suddenly stumble into the kind of love they'd only dreamed of. That's what healing does. It makes room for new possibilities. It opens doors you never saw coming. And yes, there will still be moments when it hits you out of nowhere. A memory, a smell, a piece of music, a holiday. Healing doesn't mean the past disappears. It means it loses its power to control your present. It means you can look back without falling apart. It means you can remember without reliving the wound. So if you're in the middle of it right now, wondering if the ache will ever ease, hold on. Trust the process. You're not failing, you're healing, and one day, without even realizing it, you'll wake up and discover that the weight you've been carrying has grown lighter. That the sun feels warm again, that hope somehow has returned, and you'll know that you made it through. Letting go. It sounds so simple when people say it, doesn't it? Just let it go. Like it's as easy as setting down a bag you're carrying. But the truth is, the things we hold on to the tightest are rarely physical. They're feelings, memories, grudges, regrets, guilt, old identities we've outgrown but still cling to because they're familiar. And letting go of those things, that's the real work, that's the heavy lifting, that's where the power lies. Because the power of release is freedom. It's the difference between dragging the weight of yesterday into every tomorrow and finally stepping forward lighter, clearer, open to life again. We hold on because we think if we let go, we'll lose something precious, a connection, a part of ourselves, a piece of our history. We think letting go means forgetting, but it doesn't. Letting go doesn't erase the past. It simply removes its grip on your present. You can honor what happened, remember what you learned, cherish the good times, and still release the hold it has on your heart. You can let go without erasing your story. So many of us are carrying burdens we were never meant to hold this long. Words spoken to us years ago that cut deep and still echo in our minds. Choices we made that we wish we could take back. People we've lost. Not just through death, but through distance, through change, through life moving on. And sometimes we convince ourselves that holding on is how we prove it mattered, that if we let go, it means it wasn't important. But that's not true. It mattered, it shaped you, it made you who you are, and now it's time to set it free. Because the longer you carry what's meant to be released, the heavier it becomes, the resentment builds. The anger festers, the sadness deepens into bitterness, and before you know it, you're living in a prison of your own making, with walls built out of memories and old wounds. Letting go is how you unlock the door and step into the light again. It doesn't mean you pretend you're fine when you're not. It doesn't mean you deny your feelings. It means you acknowledge them, you feel them fully, and then you decide they don't get to dictate the rest of your life. You stop letting the past write the script for your future. I've seen people cling to relationships long after they've turned toxic, afraid of what life might look like without that person. I've seen people hold on to guilt over mistakes they made decades ago, unable to forgive themselves even though they've changed and grown. I've seen people trapped in stories of betrayal and hurt, replaying the same mental reel until it defines who they believe they are. And every time I've watched what happens when they finally let go, the weight lifts, the air clears. They start to breathe again. Letting go is an act of faith. Faith that your life can be good even without the things you've lost. Faith that you're strong enough to keep going. Faith that there's more for you than what's behind you. It's trusting that even if the road ahead is uncertain, carrying old baggage won't make it any safer. Sometimes we hold on to anger because it feels like power, like protection. We tell ourselves, if I stay angry, they can't hurt me again. But that anger is a chain. It keeps us tied to the person or the pain we're trying to escape. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to give it any more of your precious life. Forgiveness is one of the greatest forms of letting go, and it's not about letting someone else off the hook. It's about freeing yourself. It's saying, I won't allow what you did to keep poisoning my spirit. It's not weakness. It's one of the strongest things you'll ever do. And sometimes, the person you need to forgive most is yourself. When you let go, you create space for peace, for joy, for new dreams. Life can't pour blessings into hands that are already full of old hurts. You have to empty them first. And I know it's scary, the past, even when painful, is familiar. The unknown is not, but the unknown is where your freedom lies. It's where new love, new purpose, new adventures wait for you. So ask yourself, what are you still carrying that you don't have to? What weight have you convinced yourself you deserve to hold? Who or what are you keeping tied to your spirit, even though it's long gone in reality? Because the truth is, you deserve to be free. You deserve to wake up unburdened. You deserve to step into your future without dragging the shadows of your past behind you. Letting go isn't one big moment either. Sometimes it's a choice you make over and over. Every morning you remind yourself, I don't live there anymore. I'm moving forward. And bit by bit, you feel the release, the lightness, the quiet peace that comes when you finally let what's behind you stay behind you. And in that release, you discover a new kind of strength, a new kind of hope, and a life waiting to be fully lived. So here's what I want you to remember. Life will ask you to let things end, to face the hurt without running, to trust that even the deepest wounds can heal, and finally to let go, for good, of what's no longer meant for you. Because endings are not your enemy, they're your gateway to new beginnings. Pain is not your punishment, it's your proof that you cared, that you dared, that you lived. Healing may take time, but it will come, layer by layer, breath by breath. And letting go, that's where your freedom begins. That's how you make room for the miracles waiting on the other side of your release. So don't be afraid to close chapters. Don't be afraid to feel deeply. Don't lose faith in the quiet, unseen work happening inside you. And don't carry yesterday into tomorrow if it's weighing down your soul. Let it end, let it hurt, let it heal, and most of all, let it go, because your best days are still ahead.